Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to review vocabulary, words, vocabulary, glossary, definitions, however you want to refer to them. I had a request from a student to review vocabulary, so I'm following their request. I get asked and I do. Okay, everyone. So this is Lillie Hendy, a realtor in the San Antonio metro area. If this is your first time on my channel, remember to tap that subscribe button, click the little bell so that you get notified as soon as I upload or go a video or go live, and like this video if you find it useful. All right, so let's get going. And at any time you can put comments, okay? And I'll get back with you. I end up getting students that send me requests, they send me questions, okay, on Messenger or Facebook. Sorry about that. I need to turn the phones off here. Okay. So get ready for a good, we're going to start with the ACE and we'll continue consecutively on vocabulary and for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, depends how interested you're on and continuing on today. Okay. So I am flexible with the time. And so we'll stay on here until you are ready to call it a night. So I am flexible with the time. Okay. And by the way, just wanted to let you know, a lot of students have let me know that they passed their exams, which is awesome, or that they're missing the state by 1 point or 2 points, or the national is similar, 1 point or 2 points. And you know, it is a tough exam and they change it every time. So you're never going to get the same exam. So realize that. So it's best to do the questions over and over and over until you find yourself getting 100. That's what I did when I took the exams and I was studying a prep book, either from Champion and others. I would take their exams over and over until I got it right. Sometimes 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. So, and when you're taking the questions, you'll run across a lot of these vocabulary words, glossary, definitions, okay, keywords. So when you know the vocabulary, it's going to help you tremendously in answering a lot of the questions and understand what they're asking for. Okay. All right. So let's get going here. And you're going to hear a little bit of noise on the background.
Hello, welcome to my channel. So on this video today,
I'm setting the Facebook one and the Facebook group that we're all in so that I can answer any questions that any of you might have. And it doesn't have to be just vocabulary. You know, you can ask me some other questions, you know, how to study. I am going to be doing another video and hopefully tonight about what to do when you get into the exam room. Okay. How do you go at it for the question? So I'm a little off the subject. However, you know, it's really hard for me to hear a lot of these students that are struggling and aren't able to pass. So I continue learning and want to help you. And I learned something from one of the books, actually from the book that I bought that has this vocabulary on what they recommend, a strategy once you're in the exam room. So I'll be doing that later tonight, okay? Okay, so let's get going here. Acceleration clause, a clause in your mortgage which allows the lender to demand payment of the outstanding loan balance for various reasons. Something crazy happened on my computer. The most common reasons for accelerating a loan are if the buyer defaults on the loan or transfers title to another individual without informing the lender. Okay, so what happens there is, so when the lender finds out that a mortgage has been conveyed or transferred to somebody else without them knowing, and they end up finding out later, they're going to accelerate it. They're going to say, hey, I want my money now. Okay. It says more money. Give me that money now. So that's the acceleration clause in the deed of trust, which in the state of Texas, we have deed of trust instead of a traditional mortgage. Okay, the West Coast, Central to West use deed of trust. There are 3 parties to the deed of trust, and Central to East Coast use mortgages. Okay, and and if the individual defaults, they'll also accelerate the loan. All right. Gosh, are you all seeing it on Facebook? Because for some reason, it doesn't seem to be streaming onto our Facebook group. Could you all let me know if you see it? Well, if you're on Facebook and you can't get in, that's an issue, and that had to, because I don't see it on my computer that it's streaming onto the Facebook group. So let me check on my phone and see if it's streaming on there. So are any of you watching it on the Facebook group, AgentPrep? It's not streaming on there. Write in the comments and see if you are. Okay, because if it's not, I may have to start over and add it on, and then you'll have to refresh your screen. So whoever's on here, could you respond and let me know? No? Okay, so let's continue on. All right, adjustable rate mortgage, an ARM, a mortgage in which the interest changes periodically according to corresponding fluctuations in an index. All ARMs are tied to indexes. So ARM, okay, it's not like your arm, okay, but you can adjust your arm, the length, shorten it, and whatever. So adjustable rate mortgage. So adjustable rate mortgages, a lot of investors can use them, and they say, hey, I need one for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. And they're usually an odd number of years that the mortgage. Hi, Jen. Hi, Ceci. Wow, Ceci Dominguez. Are we related? I'm also Dominguez. Wow, Lillie Handy Dominguez. Okay, that's my dad's last name. And sometimes those ARMs are interest only because they want it for a short time. Okay, but traditional ARMs, they are a fixed interest rate, but they will expire after 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, or 10 years. And then the interest rate could fluctuate. It could go up, or it could also go down depending on the interest on the market. Right now, interest rates are creeping up. So we've been in the low 3s and in the 2s for quite some time. Now they've gone up to like 3.75. So it's scaring buyers, but it's not an adjustable rate mortgage. Okay, that's not it. Okay, the adjustment date. That's the date that it expires after 1 year, 3 years, 5 or 7 or 9 or 10. That ARM expires, and then the rate can start adjusting. So it's the date the interest rate changes on adjustable rate mortgage. So at that point, buyers, mortgage holders will have to refinance. Okay. Can anybody tell me if you're watching it on the AgentPrep Facebook group? Because I can't seem to see it. All right. Amortization. The loan payment, so amortization, right? When there are loans, we are allowed to pay a small amount because the mortgage is spread out to 15 years or 30 years. So it's a loan payment consists of a portion which will be applied to pay the accruing interest on a loan, with the remainder being applied to the principal. So every month, so let's say it's a 30-year loan. So 30 years times 12 months, it's 360 months. So every month, part of the payment will go to the interest rate, part of it the rest will go to the principal. When rates are low, more goes towards the principal than it does to the interest. And then of course, then an individual also has to pay taxes and insurance, right? PD, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, PITI. But what is amortized is only the principal and the interest. So over time, the interest portion decreases as the loan balance decreases and the amount applied to principal increases. So, when we start off, interest rate might be here, but with time, as the years go by, then the interest rates go low, the principal goes up until it's all principal and it's paid off, no more interest. So that is the amortization. They provide an amortization schedule, which is next, which has all 360 months itemized, so that every month the borrower knows how much went to principal, how much went to interest, and what their balance of the loan mortgage is. So a table which shows how much of each payment will be applied towards principal and how much toward interest over the life of the loan. It also shows the gradual decrease of the loan balance until it reaches zero, right? So principal starts going up and interest rate until boom, there isn't any more interest rate and the home is paid off. However, we still have to pay principal, taxes and homeowners insurance, right? All right. Annual percentage rate, APR. Know your acronyms. So you don't see it on Facebook Live. Bummer. And you know what? So it's something wrong here. It says you are live view on Facebook. Let's see here. You're about to view a broadcast on Facebook. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it to work. Okay, so it now shows that maybe it is on Facebook. Somehow something went kaput. Okay, all right, so let's get back to it. So annual percentage rate, APR. Okay, it's not the interest rate of the loan. It's the interest rate of the loan plus closing costs. So this is not the note rate on your loan. It is a value created according to the government formula intended to reflect the true annual cost of borrowing, expressed as a percentage. So all the money that we're charged in order to borrow that loan from the lender, okay, then it's added to the loan balance, and the new interest rate, the annual percentage rate, is calculated. Government formula. What kind of formula? A government formula. Okay. And so it works sort of like this, but not exactly. So only use this as a guideline. Deduct the closing costs from your loan amount, then using your actual loan payment, calculate what the interest rate would be on this amount instead of your actual loan amount. You will come up with a number close to the APR, because you are using the same payment on a smaller amount. The APR is always higher than the actual note rate on your loan. So if you ever purchased a home and you got a loan, you'll notice on the estimation of what your payment's going to be, what your interest rate is, you'll see that the APR is a little bit higher. So the way they calculate it, it says, so only use this, deduct the closing costs from your loan. Okay, then using your actual loan payment, calculate what the interest rate would be on this amount instead of your actual loan amount. Okay, closing costs could be like the insurance, the escrow of property taxes, your home inspection, those types of things. Those are some of the closing costs and prepaids. So the APR will be higher than the normal interest rate of the loan. So let me edit this. I don't know why. Let's see. A post was created on Facebook for this. Deleted. Remove this destination from broadcast. No. See, something's wrong with it. Okay, well, I'll have to then upload it to Facebook. So application, the form used to apply for a mortgage loan containing an information about borrower's income, savings, assets, debts, and more. So that's the loan application. So whenever or a mortgage application. So whenever someone wants to buy a house, what's the first thing that they need to do? We need to get pre-approved. Go to a lender and find out whether we can get that loan. Okay, whether we can qualify for the loan. So they'll look at our debts, our income, any assets, savings, any payments we have, and what else could they look up? Any judgments that we might have that we're having to pay on, and then they determine whether they can provide a loan or not. Okay, appraisal. Gosh, this is a bummer. A written justification of the price paid for a property, primarily based on an analysis of comparable sales of similar homes nearby. So appraisal. Now that an appraisal is done by an appraiser, which is just below it. Now, who licenses appraisers? It is not TREC, Texas Real Estate Commission. It is the Appraisal Board. Okay, TREC does not license appraisers. Okay, so remember that. All right. The appraised value. So anyway, the appraisal, so the appraiser is going to look at comparables similar to what a realtor will do, an agent will do, looking at similar properties, similar size, lot size, and age and location within half a mile, within the same neighborhood. If there are a lot of homes in that neighborhood, then it'll be within the same subdivision. If not, if we can't find any comparables or the appraiser can't, then they're going to spread their distance. Now, the appraisers do a lot more adjustment. So let's say one house has 3-car garage and the subject property only has a 2-car garage. Well, they're going to subtract that value from the comparable so that it'll meet the parameters of the subject property. And then, so they start to add and subtract. So if this house has a pool, all right, they will add a pool to the other house and see what value that would have been with a pool, okay? And until they come to a real market value. Now, it is an opinion. Even though they did the research, it's still an opinion. Another appraiser could come up with a different value. VA appraisers sometimes are, stricter. Appraisers that might do for FHA, they don't pick the same appraiser. They're on a bucket roll. They pick an appraiser, and that's who does it. VA uses VA appraisers. The appraised value, as I mentioned, it's an opinion of a property's fair market value. What's a fair market value? The current market value, the current value of that property. But when is it determined what the market value is? It's when a buyer and a seller come to an agreement. Buyer decides to buy and accepts the price that the seller decided to accept based on their offer. When they come to a meeting of the minds, that's the real current market value, because that's when they go into a signed contract and it goes towards the escrow and title process to close. So based on an appraiser's knowledge, the appraiser, not the realtor, and experience and analysis of the property. Since an appraisal is based primarily on comparable sales and the most recent sale is the one on the property in question, the appraisal usually comes out at the purchase price. The appraisers will usually ask, or typically will ask, for a copy of the contract. And so sometimes I wonder, why are they coming up with the exact same value that's on the contract? I want to know, did it really appraise higher? It's sometimes I think, man, they shouldn't have that in advance so that they could come up with their own value, just as we did with the comparables to make a recommendation to our buyer if they are a client, or a recommendation to our seller to put it on the market to sell, right? We don't have something else to follow. We have to do it on comps. The appraiser ends up getting a copy of the contract to, get full information like legal description, buyer's name, seller's name, and all that. But again, it is an opinion of property fair market value. Those are key words: appraisers' knowledge and experience. Okay. It's not set in concrete. Okay, an appraiser, it's the actual individual qualified by education, training, and experience to estimate the value of that real property and personal property. Typically, we don't deal with personal property in the house, but certain properties like manufactured homes, retirement properties like that, condominiums may be sold with property on it. Those typically are sold for cash. So although some appraisers work directly on for mortgage lenders, most are independent. And personal property doesn't determine the value of the property, subject property as market value. Personal property is separate from real property. What is compared, because we don't know what the personal property on everybody else's house that we're comparing to is. So we compare the improvements above the ground and the land, okay, and any improvements that are below, like the water, okay, electric, and cabling, plumbing, and all that. Those are all considered improvements because they improve the land in order to accommodate people living in the home. Okay, so personal property is separate, but they can be asked to also appraise personal property. There's appraisers for gold coins and antiques and things like that. They are also appraisers, but not necessarily for homes. So appreciation, the increase in the value of a property due to changes in market conditions, inflation, or other causes. So the market here in San Antonio, in Texas, has appreciated by about 17% within the last 2 years, maybe even more. That's a lot. And especially when we dealt with COVID, right? You're like, man, why are so many people buying homes? Well, why? The interest rates were extremely low, down to the low twos. That motivates buyers. They can borrow money at a low cost, okay? Their payments will be lower. And so now some of them are starting to get scared. So when the value of the economy is increasing like it has now, so our median price used to be like $275, and now it's about $307, which is different from the average. The median is there's 50% of properties that sell above and 50% that sell below. The average is taking like 100 homes, adding all the values of each home, and then dividing by 100. That is the average. So the average in San Antonio has gone up to about 359. The median is about 307. So it appreciated. It has more value. So whoever bought a year ago, they've got equity, or bought 2 years ago, they've got 17 to 20% equity already. So if they have 20% or more equity, they can contact the lender and say, hey, I want you to remove my private mortgage insurance so that I'll pay for that myself. I'll pay for my own personal insurance, but I don't want it to be insured, and you get paid for the life of the loan. That is called PMI, private mortgage insurance. Or if it's an FHA loan, it's mortgage insurance premium, and that'll stay for life. But on a conventional loan, the borrower, once they have 20% equity, they can contact the lender and says, hey, I want to remove your property mortgage insurance, okay, private mortgage insurance, because it's usually more than $100 a month. Okay. Hey, you guys, you know what? In order to try to get back people that are on Facebook, we've been on here 25 minutes. All right. Then I'm going to cut this off and restart so that we can bring people back onto the Facebook group. Hopefully you'll get back on. You'll need to refresh your screen, but I'm going to end it. We've done 25 minutes, okay? And then I will start another video and start with appreciation. Okay, guys, so until next time, which will be shortly. Talk to you soon.